Hi all. In this session, we will learn about the control flow mechanisms like iteration and recursion in detail. First, let's learn about the iteration. Iteration and recursion are two mechanisms that allow a computer to perform similar operations in repeated mode. In most programming languages, iteration may be done in the form of loops. There are different looping mechanisms like while loop, do while loop, for loop, etc. While loop is entry control loop, whereas do while loop is exit control loop. That means in while loop, before entering into the loop, the system will check for the condition. The loop will be executed only if the condition is true in case of a while loop. In case of a do while loop, first it will execute the iteration and then it will check for the condition. That is why it is called as exit control loop. There are typically two looping mechanisms used in programming languages. First one is enumeration control loop and the second one is logically controlled loop. In case of an enumeration control loop, the number of iterations to be performed is known by the compiler before the first iteration begins. For example, for I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. While executing this statement itself, the compiler knows that it is controlled by the value of I which start from 1 to 10. So it will execute 10 times. So before starting the first iteration itself, it is known that this particular loop will run for 10 times. In case of a logically controlled loop, it is executed until some boolean condition changes the value. The design constraint of logically controlled loop is when to perform the condition test. The condition test can be performed at three stages: pre-test, post-test and mid-test. In pre-test mode, the condition is checked before entering the loop. Example, while loop. In post-test, the condition is checked after executing the loop. Example, do while loop. And in case of mid-test, the condition is checked during the execution of the loop body. So these all are the three stages of condition check in a iteration statements. Consider the following iteration statement. While n greater than 0, if true, then n is equal to n minus 2. If the value of n is 5, then the number of times this particular loop executes will be 3. First the value of n is 5 greater than equal to 0, so it is true. So n is decremented by 2, so 5 minus 2, 3. Then it again check for 3 greater than 0, yes it is true. So again it is decremented its n value by 2, so 3 minus 2, the n value will be 1. 1 is again greater than 0, so again it will execute the loop. So 1 minus 2, the n value will be updated as minus 1. Minus 1 greater than 0 is false, so the loop body is skipped. So if n is equal to 5, this loop is executed 3 times. The number of iterations is 3. Consider if the n value is 7. Then it will start with while 7 greater than or equal to 0. Yes, it is true. So the value is decremented by 2. So 7 minus 2 is equal to 5. While next is while 5 greater than or equal to 0. It is true. So n value is again decremented by 2. So now n become 3. 3 is also greater than 0. So again it is decremented by 2. Now the n value is 1. 1 greater than 0 is also true. So again it is decremented by 2 and it become minus 1. So if the n value is 7, then this particular iteration is executed 4 times. So this is called as logically controlled loop. The number of iterations performed is based on the value that is given during the runtime. If we are giving the value 5, in this particular case it will execute 3 times. If we are giving 7, it will execute 4 times. If we are giving 9, it will execute 5 times. So based on the values given during the runtime, the number of iterations will be changed. This is what is called as logically controlled loop. A combination loop is the combined form of both enumeration control loop and logically controlled loops. Next is recursion. Recursion is also used for repeatedly performing a particular set of statements. Usually it is a function called by itself. Recursion is mainly focused on decomposing a larger problem into smaller problems by calling itself. In a recursive function, there should be a base case. This base case is the condition at which the function does not call itself any longer. If there is no base case, no return value. The problem must always get smaller as it approaches the base case. There is no side effects and no special syntax required for recursion. Most of the programming languages supports recursion, but languages like Fortran 77 don't permit the concept of recursion. Recursion can be done in two ways: head recursion and tail recursion. If the recursive function call occurs at the end of a method, it is called a tail recursion. The execution of a tail recursion is similar to a loop. The method executes all the statements before jumping into the next recursive call. In case of a head recursion, the recursive call occurs at the beginning of a method. Tail recursion is better since dynamically allocated stack space is unnecessary and the compiler can reach the space of the current iteration when it makes a recursive call. Let's understand the concept of head recursion and tail recursion with an example program. Consider this C program. The program always executes from the main function. In the main function, we are calling a function by passing the argument 3. So the compiler will check for a function definition with the name fun. There is a function definition with name fun and it will receive an argument as n. So this 3 will be received by n, and if 3 is equal to 0, then return else function of n minus 1, that is recursively calling that function itself. The name of the function is function. Inside the function we are calling again function of n minus 1. This is what is called as recursive function calling procedure. The recursive function call is made at the beginning of this code block, and after that some other statements are followed. So this is called as head recursion. The same program in case of tail recursion, the statements are written at the top and at the end of the code block we are calling the recursive method. You have already seen the output will be 1, 2, 3 in case of head recursion, and the same program output will be 3, 2, 1 in case of tail recursion. Let's understand how this difference happened. First, let's see the case study of head recursion. So the program execution begins from main function. In main function we are calling a function of 3. So function call of 3 equal to 0, return 3 is not equal to 0, so it will go to the else statement. There we are calling function of 3 minus 1, that means the function of 2 is called. So the function of 2 is called. Remember, in this statement function 2 is called, so this statement print %d comma n, that is print the value of 3 is pending. This particular statement is not executed, it is kept pending, and the function is calling fun2. And in fun2, if 2 is equal to 0, no, so the condition is going to the else part, function of 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 means function of 1. So it will call the next recursive function of 1. Again remember, the print function of value 2 is not executed, it is kept pending. That statement is kept pending, and the control is given from function 2 statement to function 1 statement. In function 1 statement, it is again checking the integer n value will receive the value 1. If 1 equal to 0, no, so it will go to the else part, fun of 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1 means 0, so it will again call a function of 0, and this particular print statement is kept pending. So this print statement is not executed. From fun1 the control is given to fun0. Then again the function is called void fun of int 0. Now the n value is 0, so if 0 equal to 0, just simply return. So the control is returned to the function 1 statement. There are some statements pending in function 1. The pending statement is print the value of 1. That 1 value will be printed in the output now, and the stack frame of function 0 is deleted. After printing the 1 value, the function 1 code block is finished, so it will give the control back to function 2. In function 2, the pending statement is print 2, so that pending statement is executed, so the output will print 2, and it will again give control back to function 3. In function 3, the pending statement was print 3, so it will print that particular statement. So this is how head recursion executes. Next is tail recursion. In tail recursion, first we will call the function of 3. In function of 3 is n equal to 0, return. 3 is not equal to 0, so it will go to the else part. The else part, the statement is print 3. So the value of 3 will be printed first. Then it will call the function of 3 minus 1. That means function of 3 minus 1 is function 2. In function 2, if 2 equal to 0, return. It is not equal to 0, so the control is given back to the else part. It is printing the current n value. The current n value is 2, so that 2 will be printed, and again it is calling the function of 2 minus 1. That means function of 1. Again the function will be called with the argument as 1 not equal to 0, so it will go to the else part and it will print the current n value, which is 1. So the 1 will be printed here, and the control is given to the next function call, that is 1 minus 1 is function of 0. Again the function is called with the argument as 0 equal to 0, so the control is returned. We have already printed 3 to 1. There is no pending statement here after this function because it is tail recursion. There is no pending statement below the function call, so it will simply return the function call back to the main function, and the output will be printed as 3 to 1. So this is how head recursion and tail recursion works. Thank you.